All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 446 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast. I went to Baltimore yesterday to see the Reds and the Orioles at Camden Yards, a fantastic baseball stadium. And it was fun overall. I went with Steve. It kind of came together at the last minute. We talked about it, but I don't know. There was some hemming and hawing. We were looking at the weather. The weather looked bad. The weather looked like there was going to be, at one point, it was like 80% chance of thunderstorms. And the last time I was at that stadium, it rained, and there were multiple rain delays, and it was hot. It was raining and hot. Not a combination that I recommend. Not really. So, and there was like massive traffic. Last time it was just, I don't know. It was fun going to that stadium, and it's baseball, and it's the Cincinnati Reds and all that stuff. But it was kind of mayhem. So we didn't want to repeat of that. But so we were watching the weather. It wasn't going great. It didn't look great earlier in the week. But then at some point, middle of the week, everything changed. It turned into 0% chance of precipitation, or if you look on another app, 5% chance. So there's almost no chance of rain. No, beautiful, perfect temperature, low humidity. So we got to go, man. We got to go. Because the Reds only play there once every 2 years. Because they're, interleague. The Orioles in the American, the Reds in the National League. So they don't play. They play each other once a year. They play them one series a year. 1 year in Baltimore, the next year in Cincinnati. It flip-flops back and forth. So the next chance I'll get to see them is in 2027. If I'm still around kicking. If I'm still kicking in 27. So anyway, he called me. He goes, "You want to do it?" I said, "Let's do it." I said, "Are you serious? Beautiful weather, 4 o'clock start on a Saturday. How much more perfection, So we went, and it was fun. I drove down to where Steve lives in Central PA, and I left my car at this hotel. We always leave my car at this hotel. They allow us to leave our cars there for free. You just have to go in and register it. And then Steve drove the rest of the way. We drove down to Baltimore. It's not far. It's several hours, but it's closer than you would think. All right. And we went. We didn't have any trouble. Went straight there, parked, walked through the Inner Harbor. I don't know what happened to that place. Everything's closed. Most of the shops and restaurants and stuff are closed. But we walked through there, and it was pretty anyway. And then we went to the stadium. They were passing out bobbleheads of I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was. Some old man. I said, "What the hell is this? Who's this guy?" Steve said, "Oh, he's the owner." What the? Who wants a bobblehead of the owner of the team? This guy's not like, this isn't like Charlie Finley, who's like who's like a character. He's just some guy. I don't know, some businessman, some successful businessman. I don't know, whatever. And then we went to the stadium, and it was chaos in there, pure chaos. And I don't know. I'm not one of these people who have a problem with giant crowds. I don't get anxious really. But I don't like people on my back. You know what I mean? When you're walking and there's somebody right up against you, and they're talking And there's like, it's like two people right up against, and they're having a conversation. They don't go around. Just like, I feel like just stop and say, go around. God, if I'm not walking fast enough, go around me. Urgh. So it's just packed. There's people everywhere. Everywhere you turn, there's another chunk of humanity standing there. There's people everywhere. It's just like, oh God, this is, oh. And Steve said, what do you want to do? He goes, you want to eat? You want to do the shopping? He likes to do the shopping. He likes to buy all these, I'm not going to buy any Orioles stuff. I'm a Reds fan. I'm not going to buy an Orioles cap or anything. I'm not going to, I will not wear another team's colors. Are you serious? Unless it's a team that's defunct, like the Brooklyn Dodgers, I'd wear that. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing some current team, I said, I want to go to the seats. Can we go to the, because it turned into it turned crazy. All right, all these people, it's just a crush of people. Everybody's right up in your space. And I was like getting stressed, And then we had to go, I was like, where's this section 252? And so we started climbing these stairs. I said, they don't have an escalator or something? They don't have like an elevator in this place? We got to climb these stairs like there's like the fire alarm went off, We're like, God, I mean, it felt like we were climbing to the top of the Eiffel Tower. Just over. We went all the way to the top, and they said, oh, you went up too far. My legs are burning. They're buzzing. I'm bitching up a storm. I'm sweating. I'm like, what the? So we get up there, and they're like, well, you went up too high. It's a level down. And they're in the club seats. They're club seats. I didn't know they were club seats. Fancy pants. So they said, but there's elevators. You don't have to go up and down the stairs. There's like a bank of elevators over there. I'm like, why did we not? My legs are buzzing. You can hear them buzzing. So I went down there. Went to our. He goes, "You want to go? You want to have dinner? You want to have? You want to go shopping?" I said, "I don't want to shop. I don't want to have any dinner." I said, "I'm about ready to have a freaking nervous breakdown." That's what I'm about to. I said, "Look, can we just go to our seats? Like, just go to our seats and decompress? Is that possible?" So we went out there, and beautiful. I mean, perfect seats, front row on the second deck. Second level, third baseline. Oh my God, the weather is beautiful. So I calmed my jagged nerves, and we went out and we got some food eventually, and we went to this place called Boog's. Boog Pal. I always call him Boog. I guess it's Boog Pal. He was a former player of the Orioles back in the 60s and 70s. He has his own barbecue place in there. It's really good, famous Boog's Barbecue. So we went there, and I ordered. Both of us ordered like their roast beef, their roast beef sandwich. It says cutlet, I guess, or what do you call it? Like, I don't know. It was beef, is what it was, a beef sandwich, and it's smoked. It's like slow, smoked for, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. I don't know. Anyway, you get potato chips and a little shot glass of baked beans or coleslaw or whatever. All right. So I got a sandwich. Both of us got a sandwich. We both got a shot glass. I got coleslaw. I was going to put my coleslaw on my sandwich, which is the proper way to do it. I mean, Steve got baked beans, and it comes with these French fries, potato chips. That's it. You get a sandwich, a shot glass, and some potato chips. You want to guess how much that cost? You want to guess the price, the total of that? $67. $67. Like, is this? Are we on candid camera? What the hell? That's impossible. $67. So anyway, we went and couldn't find a place to sit. Everything. When I say it was chaos in there, I don't think you fully understand what I'm saying. I can tell by your reactions. that you're not getting what I'm trying. I'm not describing it well enough. It's crazy, insane. So we got one of those shitty like stand up tables. The table is like tit level. One of those tit level tables. And we have to stand there and eat. And people are like walking up and like some woman wanted me to take a picture of her. And I don't know. That's fine. I mean, she was nice. And it has like telephone chargers built into it. So people are coming by there and charging their phone for like 5 minutes and standing there. We're trying to eat our sandwich and people are like just standing there looking at us, So we chowed down on our $67 sandwiches. Really good, by the way. But was it worth that? I would say not. I mean, that is one of the most wildly overpriced meals that I've ever eaten in my life. $67 for 2 sandwiches. I mean, I'd say they're worth like $15 each. And even that's a lot. $15 each is what it feels like it should cost. So $30, $67. All right. Sweet stuff. And Steve pops into a couple of shops, and he's eyeing stuff. He's like, I'm going to come back and pick that up later. I know the guy. He buys a lot of stuff. He's a big Orioles fan, by the way. So we go to our seats and watch the game. Starts. The Reds have one of the best pitchers in baseball starting for him. So I feel pretty good about it. He's terrible. He gives up 2 home runs. First 2 batters homer off of him, and then he walks a guy. Then he hits somebody. He hits 2 batters. One of them hit in the elbow. And that thing, I mean, you could hear it all the way up in our seats. I mean, that thing plunked him big time. I told Steve, I said, my prediction is he's going to stay in the game until the half inning's over, and then somebody's going to replace him. He's not going to finish the game after getting hit by that 100-mile-an-hour fastball or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. But anyway, so the Reds, they started out. It didn't start out very well, but things calmed down, and the Reds came back, and it was close. And then they put this guy in, who just, I don't know, he was good at first, and you could tell he just got tired, and people were like hitting homers and doubles, but they just left him in. Just left him in there. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. I don't know, but they just left the guy in there. They must have told him, "All right, you're going in, and this is your game. Whatever happens, you're not coming out." So they ended up getting beat. I don't know. It was a very unsatisfactory game. It was fun being there. I love going to baseball games. It was fun. Me and Steve were laughing. We had fun together. It was, we're always, it was good times with him. I mean, nothing against that. Nothing like that. It's just the game wasn't the Reds didn't do very well. And the place was just too chaotic. I know I sound like some old guy, but it's too much. We went after the game was over, Steve, he goes, all right, well, I want to go to some stores. So we started bouncing around the stores. He's buying stuff, and I'm just kind of like hanging out in the background, holding his purse. No, I'm just hanging out in the background. And then we go into the team store. I walked in there. I was like I'm out of here. I was like stuck over in some corner at one point. And I was watching Steve. He was like trying on some sweatshirt, and he's like he's putting different sizes on. He's like, and he like putting his arm through the thing, slapped some guy in the face. He like almost knocked his glasses off. And then Steve's like, "I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry about that." And I was like, "Oh my God!" I said, "I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of this place." So I fought my way. You had to fight your way. Like a salmon swimming upstream. I fought my way over there, and I went out the door that I came in, and there were 2 teenagers there, a boy and a girl. They looked like they were 14 years old. And they said, sorry, sir, you're going to have to go out the exit on the back of the shop. I said, I'm going out this way. I about had it. I was like having some kind of a panic attack or something. So I went out there and just got away from the crowd. God, things had calmed down. This is after the game, so a lot of the people cleared out. And I was able to find a little spot where there wasn't just wall-to-wall humanity, you know. And then Steve called me. He goes, "Where are you at?" I said, "I'm out front in front of Boog's Barbecue." He goes, "Oh, I went out the back. They wouldn't let me come out the front." I said, "Whatever." I said, where you want me to meet you?" So, I don't know. And we were parked far away. So it was a long walk. It was hot at that point. It was kind of like starting to get muggy, and, you know. Anyway, I mean, I'm glad we did it. I didn't get home. I got home at like 12:40, and it wasn't bad. There's aggravations. There's aggravations involved. Also, one of the tires on Steve's car was flat. It was half flat when we got there. So he had some kind of foot pump, and he pumped that thing up to like 32 pounds or whatever. And when we came back out, it was down to 27 again. I thought for sure when we were getting back to the car, after all that chaos, I thought for sure it was going to be like, flat, and we'd be calling AAA or trying to put us in a parking lot, trying to put the donut on ourselves, which we could have done, but do I want to do something like that after walking like 3 miles to the car and walking that Eiffel Tower and all that stuff? No, I did not. I want it on the record as no, I did not. All right. So anyway, but it was fine. 27. He pumped it back up to 32. We hit the road. I got home at 12:40 a.m. So it was good. I like going to that ballpark. It's a nice ballpark. Let me take a hit off this water. It's a nice ballpark, but I don't know. It felt like it was way more chaotic than it was last time. I don't really like that. I don't want to sound like some old guy, but I don't like the crush of people. Take a hit off this bitch. Mm-hmm. All right, enough about that. That was fun. It was good. I mean, I'd give it a B. The chaos kind of dragged it down a little bit. I'm not afraid of crowds. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I go to concerts and shows, and been to lots of baseball games. This one felt double worse than pretty much any that I've ever been to. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. But anyway. So that happened, and it was good times. I'm glad I went. Kind of glad they're not going to be back till 27. I don't know. I mean, I go to Philly games. It's not that crazy. And Philly's insane. Philly's insane in general. But the games aren't like that where you just feel like, oh my God, I'm getting claustrophobic. There's people on all four sides of me, I didn't feel that way, but anyway. Let's see what else. Let's see. Oh, I was talking to one of the kids. I was talking to the older boy. Have you ever had somebody? I don't know how this came up, but I said, have you ever had somebody tell you that you look like a celebrity? Right? So have you ever had that happen? And is somebody you're like, what? What are you talking about? Somebody told the older boy he looked like somebody. He looked like they said he looked like Dr. House from that TV show. I said, I don't know. I mean, you have that scruffy beard thing going on. Your hair's kind of the same, but the rest of it, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's enough. He goes, I don't see it. I said, yeah, okay. But have you ever had that happen where you're like, somebody says, you look very similar to somebody, some celebrity. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? What kind of nonsense? I had somebody that used to work where I work now. This is years ago. But she swore, and she said this over and over and over again. She swore that I looked like Jimmy Fallon. I was like, what the hell? I said, what? I don't look anything like Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon has some kind of weird... I mean, something odd about him, you know? Are you saying that? You know what I mean? I mean, he's not a hideous man, I guess, but he's odd looking. You look just like Jimmy Fallon. I said, I don't think that's true. I mean, nobody's ever said that ever in my life. I've ever heard that. I've had people ask if I'm Jewish. I had a girl, this is in Greensboro. I walked into a convenience store in Greensboro when I lived there, and this girl goes, "Hey, are you a Jew?" I'm like, what the? First of all, I don't think that's the right way to ask that question. I don't know. Something about it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I said, but second of all, why did you? I said, why do you think that? I said, I'm just curious. Why would you think that? And she goes, this is the level of person I was dealing with. She goes, dark curly hair, big nose. I'm like, hang on a second. That's a stereotype. That's a terrible stereotype. You should feel ashamed of yourself. and second of all, big nose. What the heck? Is that something else I need to worry about? I got many things to worry about. I never crossed my mind I have a big nose. Do I have a big nose? I never thought I had a big nose. And anyway, I don't know, the whole thing. But anyway, but nobody's really. Somebody also told me I look like what's his name? God, I can't think of anybody's name ever. Lou Reed. I've had people say I look like Lou Reed. That I can see. That I can see a little bit. But Jimmy Fallon? All right. If you guys have anything like that, I'd like to know about it. Have you ever had that where you say they say you look just like this guy or this person? I was like, no, I don't look like that at all. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what in the world. Do you need LASIK or something? All right. So anyway, Jimmy Fallon, that's what I look like. Let's see what else we got. Tony and I were talking about when we pass away, what we're going to do, you know, what we'd like to have done. Tony, she said, I want to be cremated, and I want the ashes to be dumped into the ocean at sunrise. I said, what the hell? I said, I don't want to get up that early. So I don't want to get up that early. She goes, you won't be around. I said, well, who's going to do it then? And she goes, I don't know, one of the boys maybe. I said, good luck with that. But anyway, she did all kinds of research, and there's like an urn that's biodegradable, you know, and you can just drop it in the ocean, and it'll all just like, you know, it'll just disintegrate, and it's made out of salt or something. I don't know. The thing's made of salt, an urn made of salt, and you just drop it in the ocean, and so you don't have all that thing where the wind's blowing and you get ashes of your loved one right in your face. You know what I mean? You just like drop it, they're like, bloop. All right, let's head back to the mainland. Get the hell out of here. I'm getting seasick. I'm gonna vomit. I'm getting sun poisoning out here. Oh, wait a minute. It's early days. It's sunrise. God. I said, I wouldn't get up that early. She goes, you won't be here. I said, thanks a lot. So anyway, she goes, what do you want done? I said, I don't know. I said, let me think about it for a second. I said, I've never really thought about it. She goes, you don't want to be buried, do you? I said, no. I said, that gives me the frickin' heebie-jeebies. I don't like that. It's kind of weird. I said, I guess I want to get all burned up, I guess. I said, is there like a a specialty crematorium for the portly? Is there like something maybe in a different state? I don't know. Well, Pennsylvania is probably a hotbed, ground zero for crematoriums for the portly. I'm sure there's one around here. She goes, I want mine done with the hickory smoke. I want to get. She told me that she wanted to go to a hickory smoke crematorium. I said, I don't think they have those. She goes, I want that. Somebody needs to throw some hickory underneath that thing, so that my ashes smell nice. I said, okay, well, I'll look into that. She goes, you won't be here. But anyway, so I said, I guess I want to go to a specialty crematorium for the portly and get burned down, to a pile of cinders. And then I want you to check with the Reds and see if they can mix my ashes in with the chalk that they use for the first baseline. For the chalk that they use for the first and third baseline. And I want that. That's where I want to be. That's where I want my ashes spread. That's my wish. That's my dying wish. She goes, I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do. I can't make any promises. I said, all right. It's good enough for me. But anyway, you ever thought about that? God, I don't like talking about that. So I don't even like joking around about it. Because it could happen. It could happen it could happen before this episode's over. Oh, boy. It's been a while since I've been on here. I got a lot of stuff on my notebook. It's a new notebook, too. I love when I start a new notebook. It's just, it's like, it just feels like promises. There's all kinds of opportunities and promises with a new notebook. And so, anyway, I got a lot of stuff written down, but it's been so long, I don't want to get into it. Last week was perhaps one of the worst weeks of my working career. I don't want to get into it. I really don't. And I'm not going to. But anyway, but we'll see how it goes this week. I apologize for being away. But I have a lot of stuff, so a lot of it's gonna go over into the Patreon episode. So right now we have. Oh, wait a minute! Before I get into this, a little while ago, Tony said that the cat, the kitty, not our kitty. He was he's been acting weird. I think it's the warm weather. The weather's turning warm, and that's activating his outdoor kittiness. That's kicking in. So he's in outdoor kitty mode. He's acting crazy. He's acting crazier than he's been house cat. He's been in house cat mode when it's cold. He comes in here and he's like real friendly, and he's real cool with everybody. He's like rubbing up against you, and he meows, and he's like just a real nice little guy, right? And then he finds a spot and curls up, turns into a kitty croissant, like a perfect circle, and just sleeps for hours, usually on some kind of a crumpled up blanket if there's one available. But recently, since the weather's gotten a little bit better, he's like wild. He won't settle down. He's like jumping up on things, He wants in, wants out, wants in, wants out, all this stuff. He's driving me a little crazy, driving us a little bit crazy. But he was asleep on Tony's lap today, which he usually that's one of his favorite things. But he's been giving her the cold shoulder. He actually, if he's mad at her, he'll sit and with his back to her, and he acts like he doesn't know she's there and won't respond to her, stuff like that. It's hilarious. But anyway, she said, "Can you open a can of cat food?" And I'll give it to him, but just open it. He'll hear it and he'll jump down because she needed to get up to work on dinner, And so I went in there, and it was a can of. I just grabbed a can of cat food out of the pantry, and it was disgusting. The flavor. The flavor was whitefish and anchovy. And I cracked the seal on that thing, and I almost gagged. I almost vomited straight in the sink. That shit is nasty. He eats that. He's like, rah, rah. He goes to town on that shit. White fish and anchovy. I was telling my son, I said, that sounds like I said, that sounds like one of those, like a morning show, like a radio morning show. We're back with white fish and anchovy. In the second hour, we're going to have a driving and crying. You can enter to win a couple of driving and crying tickets in a white fish and anchovy. That sound like a radio, morning drive radio team. Anyway, that shit is nasty, baby. Ugh, God, I don't know how he eats that crap. It's just like a gut wrenching stench come rolling out of that thing. But anyway, that's enough. Wait, I have 3 or 4 phone calls. Let me see what I got here. I got 3 phone calls. Ian said he sent me something. I can't find it. I'm going to have to get with him. He said he sent me something. I told you how he has to come in through a different angle. He has to circumvent the hotline because of international phone charges. But anyway, he said he sent me something. I don't have it, so I'll get with him. I'll sorry about that, Ian. I'll circle back with you. I'll get him in the next go round. But I do have 3, and we'll start. See, hang on a second. Let's see. Yeah, this first one's from Mark in Portland, and here it is.
Hello, Jeff. This is Mark from Portland, and I'm a first-time caller. Well, technically second-time caller because I just tried to call you, but I messed up and it didn't go well. But second-time caller, but I'm a long-time fan of yours. I really loved your zine back when you made a zine back in the 1990s. And so I was excited when I heard your rule of thumb or thing that is true, whichever it was, from the zine that nobody cares about the weird dream you had last night. I wanted to let you know that I actually think about one of your rules of thumb often, every so often, and that is, if I remember it right, women with homemade tattoos on their hands don't know shit about Graham Greene, I think it was. But yeah, I think about that and I laugh every so often, every few months, I'd say. I really enjoy the podcast. My favorite parts are when you go off on tangents and when I can hear your stomach growling in the background sometimes. So yeah, this was a really good one. I feel like I was all in on the dream. So this actually contradicts your things that are true, that no one cares. I love the dream. Anyway, I'm really glad that you're still making things and glad you're doing well. Bye.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mark. You've been with me off and on since the early days of the paper zine. I appreciate that. I don't think there's too many. There weren't too many in the original days, and I don't think there's way less now. But I appreciate you hanging in there with me, off and on, as you say. It's fine. But yeah, the original, one of the original posts, it was actually included in the paper zine, but it was also one of the original posts, an expanded version at the website, was Surf Report Rules of Thumb, things that are true. And one of them, as I said, was, nobody cares about the weird dream you had last night. That's true, right? It's absolutely true. I'll tell you a few of them, a few of the other ones, a few of the ones I like. There's some of them in here that are kind of crass, kind of embarrassing, really. So those things were written like 20 years ago. But there's some of them that are, I still stand behind. Let's see. One of the main requirements for being a basketball coach is the ability to act like you just can't fucking believe it. I think that's true. It's what they do. It seems to me like basketball coaches do that 50% of the time. They just can't believe it. That's one of their main requirements, I believe. Let's see, what's next? People who say, whoa, I'm not even going to touch that one. Can't think of anything clever to say. It's a rule of thumb. It's things that are true. That's true. If somebody says, whoa, I'm not even going to touch that one, that's because they can't think of anything clever to say. Let's see. Let's see. Some of these are, I'm not going to. How about this one? You can judge a book by its cover. I don't know about that. I don't know. Let's see. Nobody cares about the weird dream you had last night. Celebrity overdoses are all the more tragic because the person was always right on the verge of getting their life turned around. I think that's true. What do you think? Let's see. Some of these are not very funny. Ugly travels in packs. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Is that a rule? Is that a good rule of thumb? Ugly travels in packs. Let's see. Women with homemade tattoos on their hands don't know shit about Graham Greene. That's the one you mentioned. I think that's true. The day a person goes to the store to buy a book of word search puzzles marks the beginning of the long, slow decline to death. I think it's Sudoku or whatever the hell it is. Sudoku or whatever the hell it is. That goes, could be in the same category. If a person says, go look in the sink, don't. Okay. Let's see. Some of these are not very good. I think I might have to go in there and edit this thing. But anyway, that's general. That's some of them. Those are some of the ones I like. So that's one of the original posts at the old website, and they were in the paper zine as well, which Mark from Portland, was there at the beginning. So I appreciate that. And you like when my stomach growls? I don't like that. I mean, I don't know what the hell. My stomach is always in turmoil. Just constantly, wow, I don't know. If I eat something right before I record, it's going to town, baby. So I try not to eat anything until after. And I drink a lot of water, try to get get my gut settled down. Very self-conscious about it, but it's always going. Man, it's going all the time. If you listen to this podcast with headphones, it's even worse. Good Lord. And the weird dream, the one with my Uncle Chuck, where he was an idea man. He had ideas. His big idea, his most successful idea, was the Cheech and Chong stove. I have no idea what the hell that is. I have what is that? The Cheech and Chong stove? I don't know. But he also had like test tube shaped canvas bags that were like 5 feet tall, hanging in a what do you call it? Hanging in his kitchen, but in his pantry. That's what it was. And it's just like full of food, just random, just cans and like boxes of food and just food, like cans laying on top of like it's just random, just thrown in there. I was thinking, that's no good. That's not a good idea. And then he had a new idea, his most recent idea. He's an idea man, my Uncle Chuck. He wanted to start an airline where nobody over the height of 5'8" could fly on it. No talls, he kept saying. I'm not going to allow any talls. I said, but you're 6'5" or something. I said, you're giant. He goes, yeah, but I don't fly. Like, what the hell? Anyway, so I'm glad. Maybe I don't know. I still stand behind my rules of thumb. Nobody cares about the weird dream you had last night. I'm glad you found a little humor in that one, though. I swear to God, that's true. That's exactly that is. None of that's fabricated. None of it's exaggerated. That is the dream I had. What kind of weirdness is that? Anyway, thanks, Mark, for calling. I appreciate it. Call back anytime. I enjoyed it. This next one, I don't even know what to say. Here, we'll just play it right here.
Your own personal ego. Someone to steal your breath. Someone who cares.
I don't know the hell. That's obviously in response to my, I was telling a story about my dad when he was a kid, when he was like 12 years old. He went to the carnival and there was like some sideshow of some woman down in some kind of pit with snakes. She was filthy, covered in dirt. Her hair's all messed up. And she's like, there's snakes slithering all over her. And she'd occasionally grab one and just bite its head off and chew it up. He's like 12 years old. He's now 83. And he still thinks about it. it like traumatized him from the age of 12. And I was talking about that on a recent podcast. So I don't know who somebody calls in with the Depeche Mode version of that. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I do have a good idea though. But thanks for the call. I appreciate that. And this last one is from our pal Jason in Austin. Jason Austin? No, that's what I was getting. It's like Jason in Austin. And here it is.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jason down in Austin, Texas. I've been on the dating scene recently. I've been divorced for a little while now. And I've been going out with this beautiful, beautiful girl for quite some time. I went out with her this weekend, and she said, all right, next weekend is my birthday, and we're going to do, let's do something, whatever. We're kind of planning a party. And I said, okay, is it a big one? Because I'm 49, right? About to turn 50, but in the fall. And she said, no, it's not a big one. And I said, well, how big is it? And she said, oh, it was 67. 67 years old, Jeff. I took her for 40-something. For one thing, she has a name that's very stripper-esque, and I thought no mother in 1958 would name her baby the stripper name. Holy shit. I just blew my top. I upset her, which I later felt bad about because I kind of cared for the girl after a while. We've been going out for a little while. But shit, I said, I didn't know you were drawing Social Security already. And is that how we're getting into the movies for $3 fucking? That's why they're giving you coffee at McDonald's? I wasn't putting it together because she absolutely does not look 67. But of course I had to end that. And everyone keeps asking me, how did you not find out how old she is? And I said, I don't know. It never crossed my mind. She didn't look old to me at all, and she doesn't. It just never crossed my mind. But now I tell you what, this shit's not happening again. She's upset that we broke up, but I'm like, yeah, she's basically a pedophile, if you look at it correctly. Now, before I date a girl, I'm going to cut her arm off and count the rings. It's the only way to be sure that they're not 70 or 7. I mean, shit. All right, y'all have a good week. Bye.
What the hell? The funniest part of that, whole thing is, I mean, I had to cut her loose. I mean, I had a choice. Sure, I mean, I really liked her. She's beautiful. We had a great time together, but I had to cut her loose. I mean, I can't be dating somebody. I can't be dating somebody can get into a movie for $3. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Jason. I can't give you any advice. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Let's see. I can't give you any advice on that. But I enjoyed it, and I appreciate you keeping me up to date on things down in Austin. Always enjoyable, always entertaining. And thanks to Mark, and thanks to I think it's Eugene possibly that called with the Eka, and thanks to Jason. I appreciate it. You guys call back anytime you want. It adds to the show, and I really enjoy it, and I appreciate it. And the rest of you, it goes for you too. The number 570-290-8151. You can call with anything. You can call with your Depeche Mode Eka mashup, if that's what you I mean, that's been done, but you can do, whatever's on your mind. You can have responses, questions. You can have, suggestions, whatever you want. Call me around the clock, 570-290-8151. And if you want 2 episodes a week instead of a measly one, you can do that too by heading over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Well, every time I publish one on the main network, I publish one a few days later on the Patreon side. And that's for patrons only. That's for people who or are my patrons who support me. It's $4. It costs $4, so you get an extra full-length episode just like this one. Every other one. If you're not a member over at Patreon, you're missing 50% of the 50% of the episodes. Let's put it that way. Think about it that way. If you're not a patron, you're missing 50% of the episodes. So if you want to double down on it, head on over to patreon.com/JeffK, and surfreportpod.com is the web home of the podcast. You can check that out as well. Expanded show notes, photographs, links, stuff like that. It's up to date, so check that out as well. surfreportpod.com. And we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side, hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. I want it on the record as, no, I did not.